The league does not want to see Damian Lillard become a Toronto Raptor. And one man that has been shouting the loudest has been Stephen A. Smith, as he came out with some very disrespectful comments regarding the Toronto Raptors today if they were to potentially acquire Damian Lillard. So we'll discuss that, including a potential package that could go down if the Raptors were to acquire Damian Lillard and a bunch of other reports. But before we jump into any of that, we have a very exciting announcement. This video is brought to you by Rentals.ca. And Rentals.ca is Canada's largest apartment hunting network. You can rent apartments, houses, condos, whatever it is. Rentals.ca has you covered all across the country. Whether you're in Toronto, Calgary, Montreal, Vancouver, Ottawa, Winnipeg, Halifax, Rentals.ca's website's clean, it's easy to use. You can pinpoint exactly on the map where you're trying to look to rent, find the perfect neighborhood, and find all the potential rental listings in that area. Simplified, it's easy, and they have a bunch of listings just for you. And they're also giving back to you as well with a massive giveaway, potentially giving you a month's free rent. That's right, if you check out the pinned comment on this video or the top thing in the description, you can enter to win a month's free rent from Rentals.ca, upwards of $2,500. So shout out to Rentals.ca for supporting the channel and supporting you guys as well. If you're looking to rent, definitely check out their website. But one guy the Toronto Raptors are not looking to rent if we end up getting him, but hopefully to keep and have a nice future is Damian Lillard with all the reports. But the league doesn't want to see it happen, as basically Stephen A. Smith is coming out and disrespecting the Toronto Raptors. We've heard a bunch of stuff about how, the Miami Heat want him to come down and build around Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo. His agent is pushing for there, Dame's pushing for there, but one guy that seems to be most desperate to at least not have Damian Lillard in Toronto is Stephen A. Smith, as he came out on First Take today and had a ridiculous comment, basically coming out and saying that he wants to be in a position regarding Damian Lillard where he can compete for a championship. If Toronto is an option, why not stay the heck in Portland? It's a waste of time to even think about going to the Toronto Raptors. And, Stephen A. Smith has had a history of disrespecting Toronto, whether we've been good, whether we've been bad. Stephen A. Smith loves to make jokes. He loves to make these sort of snarky comments regarding Toronto. He just doesn't like Canada. And it's not, one of these, the league hates us, this type of stuff. Stephen A. Smith has been pretty open about how he doesn't want to see the one team outside of the United States succeed. Basically, when the Toronto Raptors won the chip, he came out and said this directly on First Take, that he doesn't want a champion being in Canada again. So, Stephen A. Smith has been pretty outspoken about how he just doesn't want to see the Toronto Raptors be successful, and this take just seems downright stupid. I mean, yes, even Raptors fans would agree. Our team would not be perfect. All holes in our really ugly ship we had last year, wouldn't be completely filled up, clogged up by basically essentially replacing Fred VanVleet with Damian Lillard, and obviously acquiring Dennis Schroeder, maybe a potential Otto Porter back. There are pieces that make this roster have Raptors fans pretty excited going into next season, but just Damian Lillard alone won't necessarily fix the contingent of issues that we had potentially last season. However, to come out and essentially say it's a waste of time, it's just nothing, they're in no position to potentially compete, is just downright stupid. I mean, yes, if the Toronto Raptors have to give up Scottie Barnes, OG Anunoby, and Gary Trent Jr. in a potential trade package, or Siakam has to be involved in one of these deals, sure. But that's not what's being reported. That's not the news going around about these potential Toronto Raptor packages. And we'll discuss one later in this video, but the Toronto Raptors sort of can keep, one of Gary Trent Jr. or OG Anunoby, or two of OG Anunoby, Scottie Barnes, and Gary Trent Jr. Like, this team is going to have a nasty starting lineup. Damian Lillard, Gary Trent Jr., OG Anunoby, Scottie Barnes, one of those two running the 3, Pascal Siakam at the 4, Jakob Poeltl at the 5, and then off the bench we have Dennis Schroeder, we have McDaniels, we have Boucher, we have Precious Achiuwa, Koloko, who's been looking really nice in summer runs. I mean, there are pieces, and as we saw with the Toronto Raptors in 2019, if Masai Ujiri thinks we can make a push, make a run, he's not afraid to make a deal at the deadline to really put the team over the top. So, saying it's a waste of time, it's like, if Damian Lillard's going to the Toronto Raptors, it's the exact same as the Portland Trailblazers. That's not the case. I mean, Portland doesn't have the star players like a Pascal Siakam to put alongside Dame. Yes, Scoot Henderson's going to be amazing, but he plays the same position, right? Jeremy Grant is a solid sort of an upper tier starter, but not an all NBA guy like Pascal has been in his career. And the Raptors also have Pirtle. They also have Scottie. They have pieces around Damian Lillard, which could make a lot of sense and make a push in these. So the disrespect towards the Toronto Raptors, I'm not happy with it. But if a potential package were to go down, we might have a little idea with a little report coming out from Brian Wildstadt, basically indicating what a deal could potentially look like in terms of what the reports are going out saying. Essentially, news has come out that if Portland gets a chance to talk to OG Anunoby about his intentions, he makes sense as a centerpiece in this deal, along with Grady Dick, the 13th pick in this year's draft, and something like a 2026 Raptors first, along with a potential pick swap in 2027, or Precious Achua, Christian Coloca, plus salary filler in terms of Thaddeus Young, Otto Porter Jr. Gary Trent Jr. is not salary filler, so I'm not accepting that there. And then, a third team getting involved like DeAndre Ayton with the Phoenix Suns, right? That's the type of deal that could satisfy both sides. And, personally, if all we have to give up to outbid the Miami Heat, to outbid the Boston Celtics, to outbid the Philadelphia 76ers, all the teams that have been rumored over the past weeks is OG Anunoby, Grady Dick, and a pick, and then, Thaddeus Young. If Gary Trent Jr. is not salary filler. We're not including him in the salary filler bunch. But if that's the only sort of things we have to give up, yes, it would hurt to give away Grady Dick, before being able to get to see him, in a Toronto Raptors jersey. That would absolutely suck. But OG Anunoby is an unrestricted free agent come next summer. We have Pascal as a free agent, Gary's a free agent, so there's a lot of question marks there. Trading him away would definitely hurt, and it would hurt, the sort of core group we're building around Dame if he's sort of brought into the mix. But Scottie Barnes is looking like he's taken some major leaps over this summer, these Rico Hines runs. I haven't made a full-out video on it because, frankly, made too many of those last offseason, and I'm a bit jaded now into these offseason videos, but I'm still buying into the hype a little bit, right? Like Scottie, Pascal, Pirtle, that's a really strong front court, especially in the Eastern Conference there. Precious Achua, if he can take a step forward as well, depending on what you have to give him, Boucher, Thaddeus Young is still a serviceable player, Coloco, depending on the steps that he takes. I mean, the Raptors have a lot of assets. They have a lot of pieces that we still have, even after a Damian Lillard trade. And if we have our backcourt with Schroeder being a bench piece and shooting involved with Gary Trent Jr. still on the roster, and then McDaniels, who's kind of a, your average shooter or something along those lines. And then, Jeff Doughton Jr. be able to make the roster at this point. Marquise Noel is talking about being the greatest Raptor of all time. This Raptors team is shaping up to be something extremely exciting going into next year. So let me know what you guys think about that potential package going down for Damian Lillard. That's the type of deal I'd be more happy with rather than giving up Pascal, giving up a Scottie Barnes, or giving up OG and Gary Trent Jr. And now, Gary's salary filler, I will cry in one of these deals if they end up going down. So let me know what you guys think about all that. But finally, we have more reports. They continue to come in regarding everything that's been going on, and basically give a little fire run through everything that's been happening. And essentially, this is a front office that isn't afraid to go big game, all that type of stuff. But Josh Lewenberg, this report coming from Josh Lewenberg, saying that the interest in Portland's all-star guard is real. So he's confirming the interest, but it's a little bit overstated at this point. Basically, if you listen to the full quote from Josh Lewenberg, he discusses how Portland's likely really just throwing out there the interest of the Toronto Raptors to put some pressure on other teams to up the offers, which frankly makes a lot of sense as there's sort of a invisible deadline coming up with the training camp happening over the next few days. So it's going to be awkward if Damian Lillard's still there. So he's trying to really make some push, or the Portland Trailblazers are certainly trying to make a push to make a deal happen, amp up the pressure before training camp happens. And I'm sure the Raptors are genuinely interested. They're going to be pushing out a bunch of reports saying that, a deal is almost done and all that. So, we're buying into the hype. Obviously, we got to sort of react to what we're being told, but Josh Lewenberg saying pump the brakes a little bit. The interest is real, but it might not be something that's imminent or anything along those lines. And also, we have an update which can ease Scottie Barnes sort of fans, as I am myself, that the Toronto Raptors have made Scottie Barnes untouchable in all trade talks. They've been told by multiple people that it's not that he was taken off the table. He was never in the same room as the table. So Scottie Barnes will be a Toronto Raptor going into the start of the season unless something absolutely shocking happens. So we'll keep you up to date with everything regarding these potential trades and the Toronto Raptors at Media Day around the quarter. Lots of stuff happening. So subscribe to the Raptors Digest. We're really close to 30K subs, so it means the world to me to hit that subscribe button. And also check out the Rentals.ca competition. But folks, you guys are the best to make this far. I'm signing out. Cheers.